What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it is a beautiful, crisp November morning today, and we decided to take a last-minute 5-hour road trip to New Mexico to pick up a new car. We're already packed and ready to go, and Marshall's on his way to pick me up now, so stay tuned to figure out what we're going to look at. All right, guys, we are back on the highway. We've got about an hour left until we hit Albuquerque. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a background on why we're going to look at this car. So I've kind of been looking around Facebook Marketplace for a few months now. I kind of just wanted to get something that I could bring to the track and just beat the crap out of. That's not super nice, you know, something that I could just use as a project, and you know, something that I wouldn't feel too bad if I like bashed it into a wall or crashed it, you know, at the track, because I really want to learn and I want to be able to drive a car to 100%, and the Corvette is just not that car for me. So I found something pretty cool in Albuquerque. You can tell because it's in Albuquerque that it's probably a piece of shit. So yeah, you guys will see what that is when we get there, so stay tuned. Oh, there it is over there. Oh. Target acquired.
There's a nice E46 right here.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
The tint is like most tint that's old.
Yep.
Terrible.
Oh, minus 300 bucks.
Let's see, we got the freaking PYPES pipes.
We are here at scenic Albuquerque, New Mexico, where, breaking news, Gabe Mooneyham just bought a brand new vehicle. Just take a look at this beauty right here. We got all of the blemishes that you could ever ask for on a track car. But this interior is pretty immaculate, if I do say so myself. She ticks a little bit, but we love her. And Marshall, tell us a little bit about the coolant situation that we're running into.
There might be half a quart of coolant in the valley pan of the motor right now. But we're gonna drive it home anyway because that's what we do. We learn how to send things and we adapt and overcome.
So yeah, like Marshall said, we do have a decent coolant leak in here. Honestly, engine bay is pretty decent. She's got a rear main seal leak, a couple other small oil leaks around. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see in there. See if we can get you a nice view. Yeah, you see all that coolant goodness in there. So yeah, the previous owner says that it leaks the reservoir dry after probably 2 hours of driving. So we're gonna try our best to get it home in one piece. We're probably gonna have to stop midway because again, this is a 5-hour drive back home, but we're gonna send it. And so some of you guys at home might be asking, Gabe, aren't you the Corvette guy? Why'd you buy a Mustang? Well, because I can, and I'm probably gonna destroy this thing. This thing is going to be going balls to the walls, full send on the chip at the track every chance I get. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a lot of work, probably more work than I really want to do to this car, but I mean, honestly, I will tell you guys, we did get it for a steal. The guy was asking $3,500. We talked him down to $2,800 on the way there. And then after we saw some issues with the car, we actually got him down to $2,500. So now I think that this investment was definitely worth the risk. So we'll keep you guys updated on that and see if we actually make it home, because that's the next exciting chapter of this video. So stay tuned. As you guys can see here, this vehicle has 357,000 miles on it. It does have a check engine light. That is for the O2 sensor, allegedly. So, yeah, I mean, she's in pretty good shape. But it does keep pretty decent temperature, even though the coolant is pissing out of this thing. It shifts pretty well. The clutch grabs all the way at the top, so my guess is that it needs a new clutch, which, you know, whatever, we can fix that. Another thing about this car, it definitely smells like casino black and milds, which kind of brings me back to high school and college times. So it's kind of like a trip down memory lane every time I get inside this thing.
So if you're looking at the vehicle of choice for this road trip, you may have seen in the background, it's my 2001 Toyota Echo with 363,000 miles on it. And Gabe just bought the 357,000 mile Ford Mustang over here, meaning we have, about 700,000 miles between the two cars, meaning we could theoretically go to the moon 3 times between the miles on both of these vehicles. Almost 3 times.
So as you guys can see, we're in front of AutoZone right now. We did have to get a few things. So I got some oil just in case, got some 5W20. We also got a gas cap because as you guys can see here, that looks pretty rough. So we're gonna replace that real quick. First mod on the 2006 track car Mustang. And then we also got a new serpentine belt here because looking under the hood, I don't think this has been replaced in probably 200,000 of those miles. So yeah, it looks pretty rough. So I'm probably not going to replace this now, but in case something does happen, we'll have a spare. So that way we're not stranded on the side of the road. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Check. All right, well, we are in Las Vegas, New Mexico. The car is looking so sick. We also found out that the tires are 13 years old from 2012, so that's super sick. Topped off the coolant, topped off the oil. So now we got 3.5 hours left. Let's get it. Fast forward a few days now, and the Mustang is home in Colorado in the garage next to the Corvette. It kind of looks like trash next to the Corvette, but that's okay. This thing did super well driving home 5.5 hours from New Mexico. Honestly, I am super surprised. It lost a bunch of coolant, but it made it home without overheating, so I am super happy. So before I start tearing into this thing and start doing the big fixes, I want to do some little things that are free for me. Like I want to take off these louvers because in my opinion, I don't really like the look of them. I also want to remove the tint on this because as you guys can see, when I was driving home, I could not see anything out of my windows. So I already removed the tint on the driver's side. Looks much better. The rear window is pretty much the same. It just looks so awful. I want to give it a good detail because again, it smells like a casino in here. I want to take off, like this SCT thing. I don't really like that. And then besides that, there's a couple other little things, like fixing up this, make this look a little bit better. I don't want to make this car look immaculate or anything like that, but at least look presentable. And one thing that I've already done since I've been home is I 3D printed a case for the key because if you've ever had a 3-valve, you already know that the key ring here breaks off super easily on the 3-valve keys. So basically I just put the key inside of this, clipped it together, and now I can put it on a key ring, so that makes it a little bit easier to carry around. So I'm probably going to sell these on the Etsy store, so if you want one of these, if you have a 3-valve, pick one of these up. But now as far as things to get this thing ready for the track, obviously this car is going to need new tires because these tires are from 2012. It's going to need a new windshield. This thing is pretty cooked and the track won't let you run if you have a windshield that's completely borked like that. Obviously we have a massive coolant leak. I looked at it and it appears that it's coming from one of the heater core hoses underneath the intake here. So I'm going to probably have to remove the intake, replace those hoses, and then it should be good to go. I'm going to see if there's any other leaks coming from under there. And then besides that, I'm just going to do like fluid changes, that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to have to probably do a new clutch as well. The clutch grabs super high at the top of the pedal. These cars do not have a cable clutch like the 2-valves do. They have a hydraulic clutch, so they aren't adjustable. So that tells me that the clutch is most likely worn out. And once all that's done, it should be pretty reliable and ready for the track, but I do want to put it on some coilovers so that way the center of gravity is a little bit lower and it's a little bit stiffer because the shocks on this car are super blown out right now and it kind of rides like a boat, But, I mean, it was pretty comfortable on the drive home, so I can't complain too much. But I just moved the Corvette outside so that way I can get a couple little things done. I'm gonna rip off this tint real quick and then kind of get the interior a little bit cleaned up. Well, this tint is super baked on there, guys. It's super old and super crusty. Even with this razor blade, it's just not doing that much work. So, as you guys can see, it's coming off in a gazillion pieces. So, I just grabbed this steamer from the basement. This is what we use to steam our clothes. And this should help to get this all off in one piece. So I'm gonna work at it with this a little bit and hopefully this helps. So after an hour and a half, I got about half of the window done. This just sucks, guys. I mean, even with the steam, it's just a super crappy job. It's just gonna take some time. But I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here. So as you guys can see, the lever here broke off as they do on most of these cars. So I 3D printed this one that I found on Thingiverse. So I'm just gonna install this guy in there. As you guys can see, it just slips right on there, and there you go, and it works. So I'm gonna install this, and then I'm gonna install another one on the other side, get those working again. Just little free fixes are nice. I'll probably take this guy off in the meantime as well, clean up the interior just a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to go and do a full detail on it another day when it's a bit warmer, but for now, I'm just gonna take a little bit of a break from the window because it's really pissing me off. All right, well, I removed this side louver piece here because this thing looks like garbage. So underneath, these things don't have any like holes or anything like that. It was all just 3M tape on there. So I peeled off most of the 3M tape, and I have to say, I think it looks a lot better without it. So yeah, I'm not gonna put anything back on there. I am probably gonna buff this area just to get rid of the rest of that 3M tape and kind of smooth out this line so that way there's not such a harsh line there. But now I'm gonna pull off this window louver as well because I don't really like the way that these things look, and it creates a big blind spot where this window is. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. All right, well, that's all for today. I am just about over scraping off all of this adhesive BS. As far as this stuff, I'm just gonna try and get this later on. I'm not gonna show this on video. I'm gonna have to get some Goo Gone or Goof Off or whatever it's called to get this because I tried to get it with the buffer and it just didn't wanna come off. The stuff down here came off pretty well. There's still a couple spots right there that didn't wanna come off. But overall, I think that looks a lot better than having the louvers on it. I didn't do the other side yet. This is what it looked like before. And again, you can't see out of this rear window with that louver on there, so that makes it kind of a pain. And then afterwards, it looks like that. I think that looks a lot more clean. So anyways, I also took off this front piece here because as you guys can see, this thing is all bent up and beat up and kind of a piece of crap. So that was under there. It looks much better without it. I'm gonna leave this middle one on there just because I don't have the Mustang emblem and I think it's gonna look kind of weird without it. So I'll leave that one on there. And then as far as the interior goes, I didn't finish up the tint because I really didn't feel like getting back after it, but I'll do that again off camera. I cleaned up the interior a little bit. I really scrubbed the steering wheel and like the parking brake and the seats and that kind of stuff. So it looks and feels a whole lot better. I also got that SCT tuning sticker thing off there. And then I also installed those levers on the backs of the seats. So, you know, it's coming together. Just little things like that. I like doing all those free fixes and do a little bit of cleaning. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Later on, after I do some more detailing, I'm probably gonna get some adhesive and try and re-stick this to the door card. This is super common to peel off on these cars, so I'm gonna have to do that. And then I also am gonna try and figure out a way to get this to mount back up to the seat, so that way it's not sticking off like that. But as you guys can see, now I can see out of that rear window. Still can't see out of the back, but I really don't want to take off the tint from the rear because that is going to be a huge pain, especially with the defrosting lines there, because those love to peel off with the tint. But besides that, this car smells so much better on the inside. It doesn't smell like a casino anymore. It looks better, it feels better, and the steering wheel isn't nearly as sticky as it was before. So I feel a little less gross driving this thing. I also took a look around the engine bay and I realized I was missing a hose clamp here, so I got one on there. I also saw that down here where they had installed this aftermarket intake, this shroud right here is rubbing up against this coolant line, and it's kind of wearing through this jacketing here, and then it's also wearing through the wiring jacketing down there. It's a little hard to see. Let's see if I can get you a better picture. You can see it's wearing through that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably just gonna take off this shroud right here. It's just a bolt here, and then this guy here. I just gotta take it off from there, and I can slide it out. So I'll probably just leave this hanging the way it is. This is a solid intake, so I don't think it's really necessary to have this on there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna just take this off just that way I don't risk popping that coolant hose or messing up the wiring. But honestly, this thing already looks and feels so much better after just half a day of work, and I can't wait to get the rest of it done. Here we are again a few days later, and I finally got all of the tint off and the louvers. So as you guys can see, you can finally see out of the windows on both sides. It looks so much better. I did buff the 3M tape off from the side vents here. It looks much better, and as you guys can see, the paint also looks fantastic there, which I kind of want to do to the rest of the car, but I know that if I put that much work into it, I'm not going to want to drift it. So I still am working on getting the 3M tape off for the window louvers. This stuff is just so on there. Even with the buffer, it's just not really coming off. So it's gonna take me hours and hours and hours of time to do this, but it's gonna be worth it once all that's off of there. So even on the other side over here, I still have plenty of 3M tape to get off here. And then yeah, I buffed this side with these side vents here, so that looks much better. But at this point, once I get the rest of that 3M tape off of there, I'm really gonna start focusing on some mods and some repairs. As far as parts for this car, I already have coilovers on the way from a sponsor, so those are gonna be free, which is awesome. I also need to get a windshield for it. As you guys can see, this thing is completely clapped and the track will not let you drive with a windshield like that. I also need to get a clutch. I need to get a rear O2 sensor. I need to get obviously that coolant hose that is leaking fluid in the valley of the motor. I need to get fluids, obviously tires, because these ones are super old. These are 19s, so they're gonna be a little bit pricier than if I had like 17s on here. And then I might need to get a new rear brake caliper. I've been driving it a little bit, and this rear rotor still has quite a bit of rust on it. So I think that that caliper is probably seized up. So I might try greasing the pins and that kind of stuff, see if I can break it loose, but if not, I might need to replace that caliper. But there you have it, guys. That's the plan for the 06 Mustang GT, but let me know in the comments below what you think about the car. And as always, if you enjoyed the content for today, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content. I'll catch you guys next week. Later.